How's it going, y'all? I'm Noah with PokePlane, and I'm going to be starting a Pokemon TCG business. Now, unfortunately, now's probably not the best time if you're trying to time it, just because of how crazy the market's going right now. You know, Destined Rivals has shot up from what I think it was $400 to $550, almost $600 now. So, not the best time to start a Pokemon business, just because it's starting to get into that bull market again. But better to go ahead and start it than just get stuck in analysis paralysis waiting for the best time. So anyway, a little bit of background. I just kind of started selling cards on TCG Player. Originally, I started with just kind of collecting my own Pokemon cards. Kind of got back to the hobby back during the summertime. Absolutely just kind of fell in love with it. Just kind of reminded me again of collecting the cards back in my childhood. And it started getting, pretty expensive because it was a pretty hot market back then as well. And so I started watching this guy, shout out to him, PokePaster. He actually got me started into thinking about, hey, maybe I should try to look into selling some cards as a little bit of a side hustle, try to make some money, and maybe that can help fund getting more Pokemon cards. So from there, everything just kind of fell into place. Started listing a bunch of cards, started doing well, started listing more and more cards, and kind of got to where I'm at right now with TCG Player, which is a level 4 pro seller, and looking at getting my own kind of singles website on TCG Player setup. Got over 3,000 cards listed, over 200 sold in the past 90 days with 100% feedback. So doing really well with that, having a blast, and honestly got to give a big shout out again to PokePaster for introducing me to this side of the Pokemon aspect. But anyway, so getting some of my cards from that, I ended up purchasing some from my own personal, just ripping it open. I also ended up purchasing some cards from Facebook Marketplace and other stuff like that, and that kind of got me into wanting to look at maybe selling some of the sealed Pokemon stuff that I had on hand. So I dabbled a little bit into eBay, just kind of selling some of the stuff from my personal collection that I kind of picked up within the past 6 months. Did all right, but the fees are kind of high on eBay, and I was a little frustrated just trying to get Pokemon cards at a decent price. So that kind of sparked me into kind of where I'm pivoting to right now, which is, hey, I'm still doing a TCG Player, still selling singles, but I want to kind of build my own website, build my own brand, and then just do my best in order to kind of give other people the opportunity to get Pokemon cards at a good deal. Now, one thing I gotta say is shout out as well to DJ's Poke Center and PokeKnee for talking about their journey, sharing their tips about getting into the business, and all sorts of stuff like that, because that kind of really inspired me, kind of like PokePaster did, to now, again, build my own website, go more into selling seal stuff, and kind of putting myself out there, such as creating a YouTube channel in order to try to kind of talk about my journey. So what I'm doing right now is I'm in the process of creating a website in order to sell sealed Pokemon items such as booster boxes, ETBs, stuff like that. Now I still want to sell singles on TCG Player, and I am doing that. It's just not the sole focus anymore. Kind of want to look to build both together and again kind of build a brand PokePlane. So anyway, I'm at the tail end of building my website right now. Pretty much have it all I think up and running from my first initial hack. Again, it's never going to be perfect. Don't want to get stuck in analysis paralysis. So I'm going ahead and launching the website, and I'll just continue to build it and refine it from there. So if you have any sort of tips, feedback, anything like that, please feel free to leave a comment in this video. Check out the website. Love to kind of get any sort of input y'all have. Next up, kind of what I want to talk about is kind of my goal. So like I said, I'm working on the website. It's the initial hack's up and running. I'm going to continue to refine it as time goes on and just try to make it a better and better product. So my initial goal, and it's kind of a lofty goal for this year, is to get $100,000 in sales across both my PokePlane website and my TCG Player store by the end of 2026. Now that's a pretty lofty goal. It's one that I don't necessarily think I'm going to be able to hit by the end of 2026, but that's kind of the goal. I want to set up a goal that's going to be very hard to achieve in order to help kind of push myself in order to actually achieve that goal. And one of the benefits of that is, since I have such a lofty goal set up, I'm going to need to create a roadmap in order to kind of help kind of plan out and map my way in order to try to achieve that. And that's also just going to help me make sure that I kind of stay on top of this goal of setting up a Pokemon card website and building a brand. No, it's a little cliche, kind of what they say, which is, hey, if you shoot for the moon, you'll hit the stars. But that's kind of what you want to do when it comes to creating a goal like this. You want to set a goal that's a little bit out of reach or really far out of reach, because that's going to be something that pushes you to actually achieve that goal. And it's going to push you a lot harder and allow you to make more kind of leaps and bounds towards your goal than if you set a small goal that you could easily hit, because you're going to easily hit that goal and then you're going to be like, okay, I'm good, I'm done, I can kind of quit at this point, which isn't the goal. Again, I wanted to try to build this brand. One of the other reasons why I wanted to create a website, build this brand, was in order to have a place in order to kind of sell my sealed Pokemon items that I collect and gather and purchase and stuff like that in a location where I don't have to pay as much fees as I do for TCG Player or eBay. eBay is running, I think, around 13 to 15% for your fees. just from my limited experience selling a couple items on there. Same thing for TCG Player, especially as a pro seller. So one of the benefits for selling on a website that I learned from DJ's PokeCenter and PokeNeat is it actually kind of brings the amount of fees you have to pay down a little bit. So I think, again, it depends upon your state, but it should be around 10, 11%, I think is what PokeNeat and DJ's PokeCenter were kind of talking about. For DJ's PokeCenter, his fees are hovering around, he said, about 10%. So based upon the state that I live in as well, it's going to be around that same amount, it looks like. So one, I'm going to be able to not necessarily make more money, because again, the main goal is to provide affordable products to people. But what that lower fee is going to enable, it's going to enable me to actually, when I purchase items, to be able to list the items at a price point that's going to be slightly underneath market, provided I buy it, the sealed products around the 70 to 80% range, while still being able to make a little bit of a profit. Because, well, at the end of the day, I do want to help provide another location, another avenue like DJ's PokeCenter for people to buy their sealed Pokemon at an affordable price, slightly under market value. I also can't be doing at a net loss. I essentially need to, at the bare minimum, break even and ideally just make a little bit of money just in order to kind of make it worthwhile for me to be putting in this extra time and effort into building up this website, this brand, going out there, purchasing these sealed collections, anywhere between 70 to 80% market, ideally around 70%, and then looking to sell it online to y'all for a little bit of a benefit. Now, if you go ahead and check out my website, PokePlane, I do have some products already listed. Some of them are at market, but quite a few are actually a little bit under market just because of how much the Pokemon market has kind of been exploding within the past couple weeks and how much it's been exploding since I purchased a lot of the stuff kind of back in the summertime of last year. So definitely go check it out. Again, please feel free to leave me feedback or anything like that for things you would like improved or any bugs you find on the website. And I'm hoping you're able to find some pretty good deals that are slightly underneath market value. One of the big things that I don't have a whole lot of, like everyone else out there, is Ascended Heroes. I have 2 or 3, I believe, of the Ghastly Ascended Heroes sticker collection. That is a couple dollars underneath the market value on TCG Player. Now, keep in mind, I do have to have a flat fee just in order to help pay for shipping for any of these things, but as long as you don't get one, it will still kind of bring it slightly underneath market value. So check that out. Feel free to check out my other items, and I'm going to continue to look to purchase additional Pokemon Seal product at that 70 to 80% market range. That way I can give all of y'all a good deal and a reasonably, at least in comparison to the current market, a reasonable price point to try to get into it, because with Pokemon entering the bull run, things are just getting really, really insane in terms of trying to get Pokemon cards yourself. Whether it's product in order to keep sealed for your investing, for collecting, or whether it's product for you to open in order to enjoy Pokemon cards, whether it's the gameplay or trading aspect. Anyway, one last kind of shameless plug. Please check out below for the link to my newly created website, PokePlane, and my TCG Player website where I sell my single cards, and I hope we're able to find some good products there. Anyway, that's going to be it for me, but I hope to catch all of y'all next time. See ya!